there for about 12 years in America. Silicon architect in Intel as well as Qualcomm, and now I lead technology practice for HCL. Trying to simplify education wherever I go. I make a very short and simple, sweet connections to what matters the most. Touch the heart and move away from there. So that is what my typical style is. And here I'm deeply touched by your cause. To be at Indian Institute of Technology, which is one of the world's #1 institute, and have a concern for the global ecosystem through rural environment, I'm deeply impressed that such a body exists, and you've been conducting so many activities year on year, gathering all the people's energy and compartmentalizing them to various different segments. I'm deeply impressed. With respect to my journey itself, the part of technology is very straightforward. Right? Device physics to software, we know certain things, we don't know many. We are searching for more and more as we crunch nanometer technologies. 1.8 nanometer today, 18 angstrom. Further down, you touch the lattice distance of silicon. So you have quantum tunneling more often, and the search is very deep there as you touch quantum. I won't go deep into that today, the scientific aspects, because we have a lot of experts in IT and we can have a different discussion. But when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to putting your heart and soul into something that thrives beyond us, I'd like to instigate certain thought process into all of you today. Spend some time and instigate some thought process into all of you. So India, we can start at different dimensions. We can say Indus, India. It doesn't matter where we start. It's the world that matters. So we can understand that we have at least representations from about 15 different states of India here in the room, which is fascinating, right? So 15 different states at least, people all over India are here, and they'll be rubbing their minds together and working on great solutions for the country and for the larger world itself. Have we observed that Indians, by nature, we all have certain very unique features. Each of us have distinct features and faces, but we still know we are Indians. Eyes, the face, the way we are, the structures. There's lots of diversity in the way we look. We call this diversity in genes, diversity from what knows, God knows, from where it started, nature knows, what knows. Right? But if you take any other civilization for that matter, the diversity is rich but not as harmonious, as natural as it looks. There is a lot of commonness among features of other people. If you take China, for example, or my neighbors, Asian, Caucasians, or other people. Right? So this is something that got me intrigued about 5 years ago. Right? And when the first time I landed in the US, I was invited to a function that was conducted by native Indians. I got a very identity crisis. When somebody said they were Indians, I was really, until that point of time I was okay. But when they called themselves as Indians, I could not really stand by. So I was very curious. I was throughout the session trying to ask them, why are you also called Indians? Why are you also called Indians? Later, it took me some more research to find out that the first guy who wanted to find India, took all his resources in the ship, ended up in America. And he found East India, West India, so he called it East Indies and West Indies. The guy behind him convinced him and said, this is not India, you took the wrong turn. This is actually some other place. We don't know what to name as. Can we name my name? His name is Americano Vespucci. So America got its name, I discovered later that in search of India, much later. Right? So this got me a combination of pride and guilt. Right? One was pride because you find a country trying to find me and you call me with my name, that's pride. But guilt because I didn't know so much about my own place, wherever I am from. And what got me to not be very curious about my original place itself. So with that curiosity, I returned back to India about 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, full time. When we got here, we had 2 children by the way, one daughter at 9 years of age now and a son at 13 years of age now. So when we wanted to look at education options for them, I discovered sooner or later that they're best taught in the home environment, or at least in a community environment rather than in a captive school which had 30 to 40, and 1:30-40 was not the right ratio. So this was about 3 years ago when I also came to IIT Madras. A boy called me, his name is Siddharth. He called me and said, I've never gone to school, Arun sir, never gone to coaching class ever, but I got into IIT Madras, 2091 All India rank. So I asked him, go to IIT Kanna, find out how many other students are like you. He found me 30 other students and added me to the WhatsApp group 3 years ago. Now my estimate is roughly 300 should be there without going to any school at all. We should be in IIT. Right? So when we were discovering schooling options for my own child, what we did was we converted our apartment community into learning, self-sustained learning environment. There were 8 apartments we rented, and Bharatanatyam, Carnatic music, or mathematics, or science, or coding, a little bit of DIY activities, and all functions. Tomorrow, by the way, there are a lot of rehearsals happening in the apartment. So 300 children got together in the WhatsApp groups and said we clustered them into 8 groups of each. They naturally clustered per their age, gender separated by themselves because they found more common activities. Right? So my daughter and son, they have so much of activities around the last 5 years I've had in my channel. So when I was getting this, educational aspects were fairly understandable now. Oh wow, things can be taught so easily and so harmoniously with nature. But then I thought, what does India have to offer? That my guilt again started getting triggered. Such sustainability. Something about sustainability is still a big open. This was a life transforming moment for us. What happened was me and my children and all the kids in the apartment, we went outside and we were feeding a cow which was just passing by. This cow was looking very strange. It was only like hip height, like 90 centimeters. Looking side to side, very sensitive skin. It can move a mosquito off even 1 centimeter anywhere in the body without shaking any other part of the body. It had a certain level of sensitivity, 90 centimeters in height. The cow had a huge hump. This was against of what all I've learned so far. According to me, cow has a straight back, only bulls have a nice hump. According to what I've learned. You say A for apple, B for ball, C for cow. It was always like that. This got me curious. Okay, now this is a cow which is looking a little strange. Let me follow that. I went to about 8 villages nearby where we live. We live in, by the way, very close to IIT Madras on the other side. So there are about access to 8 villages there near the city. It's called Karane, Uttiambakam, Podumar, Polachiri. About 8 villages. When we went there along with our children, we discovered the village had 5,000 such cows. 5,000. Freely grazing, roaming, happily. But they were all getting restrained more and more because of the lack of grazing area. So something, I got very sensitive. What is this happening? It was crossing our place and going to the city, and we were exactly on that border. When it would cross the city, there would a van would come and take them away and said that you are actually crossing the city border. So like, guys, there's 5,000 here and there's one coming here and this is going. And then I started looking up the literature. I said we are designing new pounding centers, killing centers for cows large scale inside the city. Like 14 of them are getting revamped, 10 lakhs each. So I saw like something is not right happening. So I started looking up documentation. What is this cow? By the way, why did I find only 5,000 cows and no bulls? I just found barely 10 bulls. How could 10 bulls only be left out? Got me very curious. So I started digging literature and finding out that this breed is called Kanchi Kutte. Kanchipuram is the area. Kanchipuram, Chengalpattu is a collection of villages here, about 5,000 villages. Kanchi Kutte, 90 centimeters only this height was. Right? And the bull is far few in number. So the story is not adding up for me. So then I went on to dig deeper to find out that Tamil Nadu itself has 45 such breeds. This is Kanchi Kutte. 30 kilometers here it was Ambalacheri, Alambadi, Kangiyam, Manappari, Tanjai Kutte, Pulikulam, Bargur. It keeps going every 30 kilometers. The features were completely changing. So what prompted the change in this species got me even more intrigued. Overall, India, I took more than 175 microplasms, germplasms are there for cow and bull. I started digging deep into literature further and find out that not too long ago, the Jallikattu was banned. It was a sport of the bull. It was banned. So a lot of bulls were taken straight to the gallows. So bulls got depleted. Let's assume that most of the bulls went there. I tried to find out where are the remaining bulls. I look at Indus Valley civilization, first the seal, the metal seal is actually a bull. And you go back to Hinduism, is like bull is the Nandi is everything. It's the origin of fertility, origin of soil. You look at Jainism, it's like the first Tirthankara is called Rishabhanatha, Adinatha. 22nd is only Mahavira. So a lot of clues coming in the form of bull and cow fur. But then where are they today? Why is it not adding up in the ecosystem? Microbiome, the ecosystem got me more and more curious. Right? At this point of time, me and my wife said, we will take some of these cows which are wandering everywhere. The cow dung looks very special. Let us take them and put in 1 acre of our land. We put 1 acre of our land. We put this freely grazing Indian breed cow dung. We got 30 bags of indigenous rice from it. So we understood that Tamil Nadu alone has about 1,000 varieties of rice varieties. It's just not 2 kinds, Pacharisi, Pudungarisi, but 1,000 varieties of rice is there. Rice is an exotic item. There's one rice for idiyappam, one for idli, one for appam, one for everything. So we bought a treasure. So barely 7,500 was the rent for 1 acre of land. The return was about 2,50,000. Just phenomenal. This freely grazing cow dung had the magic. And the freely grazing cow urine, to catch in the urine is very, very hard. You have to go close to it, you give one kick straight in the face. You can't catch it. You can't do these experiments, right, so easily. So we said, what will we do? Oh, there are like few special families here which can catch for us. They caught it and gave it to us. We made some preparations, indigenous preparations, through Subhash Palekar from Maharashtra. He is a zero budget farmer. He advocates what needs to be mixed with cow urine, in what proportions, what herbs, Adadinda Pale, Adatode, Nochi, Nuna. These are different names for the same herbs present all over India. That really fascinated me. So the herbs are unique and they are also present all over India. The microbiome of soil, every place is unique, that is also present all over India. And the cows is also such diversity all over India. Humans are also having extremely diversity. So we've all comfortably been living in different parts of time without getting transported. The magic was, why was this so late to be unearthed, is that breeds are often transported for the sake of money. The cow you saw in the previous slide is called a gir cow. This gir cow is sold by diamond merchants in Gujarat. They have rescued that particular breed. They are selling it left and right, like selling Dobermans and Pomeranians all over India. Transporting them. Once it comes here, it is not holding the same microbiome. It neither gives milk nor gives the fertility in the soil. It gets stranded and it goes away to better after some time. The bull, on the contrary, if you transport a bull from here, that bull is about 7 feet high. That bull will climb on top of 30 shorter breed cows and break its hip every day in the village. So to transport that bull itself is a tremendous karma, what you call is a tremendous implications to the society. To touch a cow and a bull and to think that you're doing some business with that itself is so dangerous. I realized it. When I saw myself looking at the bull climbing on top of 30 cows and breaking. Right? So now the story is adding up a little bit, but then Subhash Palekar is the Padma Shri expert. So I spoke to him and the Namarwar team here, the farmers team here, connected them and found out that there is something special with Indian breed cows which are local to the place, also moderately milky. The milk should be less for them so that microbes are much more richer. That milk was never bought and sold in India. 30 years ago, milk was never bought and sold in India. It was just a transaction of love to the cow, bull and back. The day we started buying and selling milk, all the diseases that we have as a list today came out. So what is happening to the dairy farming? What is this A1, A2 business? A1, A2, again, let's go back in time a little bit if I have 5 more minutes of history. We are now in 2025. Again, I'm going back to the pride of being an Indian, going to US and coming back. Right? And researching all this and finding out something is still not adding. When did we go from a sustainable city, sustainable country to this situation? That was my curiosity. If you bring up the data today, India is about 3 million kilometer squares in rough area size, right? 97% of that area is villages. 97% of that area is villages. 3% is urban cities. If you take the population, roughly 40 to 50% today are in the cities. 60% supposedly are there. I have not seen, by the way. I have traveled 45,000 kilometers only in Tamil Nadu. I am barely seeing people there. So we are talking about evacuation, mass evacuation of the country and buying those lands for somebody else. Quick sale of India. So we are trying to now, at the border, trying to understand how to try and reverse it. It's still not possible, by the way. All of Elon Musk's wealth also, if he spends it, he can't even get 1/4 of Taj Brown. That is the going rate today. So no billionaires, we don't need billionaires, we need only clean air. No billionaires can do any magic to this country or the world. But the whole plot of going away from villages and serving the cities itself is a narrative to be broken. I understood this part. In America also, when I used to be there, no, all the people around will come and socialize with me. They are not so clean air, politicians are so terrible. I'm like, why are you bringing up something negative about the country when we can discuss so many things? The second conversation, they'll start this. I'm like, why? Then I came back here, took the 8th standard textbook, which is an English textbook. I see this in the 42nd page, English textbook. Separate the subject and predicate from this sentence. Like, what is that sentence? Kundan dislikes living in India. Okay. My son got this to me, he showed me, he was laughing. Which country will publish a book like this? Oh? who are behind these narratives that are going to children? So I was there when I was there. But in the US at least I was able to relate to the people who were talking to me because they were guilty. They were not being able to enjoy the country, mostly urban bred, and they were not able to open up to the nature and 97% of India, which is the villages. So we are here and trying to kind of walk through that history in a very short amount of time. Right? So the next part is, I'm just going to accelerate fast to 1821. This is a very special date. India, right? When the first school came from Britain, India had 732,000 functioning setups of educational centers, which were trees or any open centers. They could be called Gurukulams or Thinnai Palli in Tamil or many other languages, they'll have their own versions. 732,000 functioning educational entities. Student ratios 1:8. It was called Gurukulam. What is a Gurukulam? Guru means Appa. Gurukulam is Amma Appa. When the child crosses 7 or 8 years of age, along with them 7 to 8 children will study together and look at their Appa Amma's learning and their own life, while the other parents will serve around that place, will not grab them back home every night to check what they studied or compare against their peers. Involvement of parental care was less because they were busy having their own more and more children, literally, and expanding the prophecy and making sure that the society was functioning. 97%. See, that area is still empty today. Right? We were told population is a big crisis, and all of our generation, we were thought of as the criminals to have the next child. You should have been with me when I tried to admit my first child into Chennai school. They really look at it. Did you have a child? My God. Now, not too long ago, guys. They made me look like absolute fool, looking like I knew that these schools cannot even offer what we can offer, but then the narrative itself has changed. Going back. So functioning centers, educational centers were there, 732,000. What could have happened after that? I kept on accelerating. The first time when trains landed in Tamil Nadu is a very special time because so much grains here, so much food here that can serve everybody, so much pepper here which can keep meat not go wasted for ages. It was a shock for Europe. You have pepper which can keep meat safe, which we can take everywhere and hunt rest of the world. Really? So they were shocked. So the trains came first here. It was not to Bombay, Thane, show off and everywhere. Because the dates when these train stations are matching is matching in Velur, Vadajabad, Maniambadi, everything. Matching. When the trains open, no, the date is matching. So 1830, the first trains come here. From all the villages, they pull all the grains here and they're taking it to Madras for the first time. Because Madras seaport is opened for the first time. Mahabalipuram was our actual convoy outside. But Madras seaport is open. You will see skyscrapers, tall grains, all the village produce will be there. Through the trains pulled there. And then Britishers are announcing that Tamil Nadu and the entire presidency of Madras, including parts of Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, everywhere, now the great Madras famine is launched. It's called launching of a famine in 1876, 30 years later. Right? This is the same date, it's a fascinating date when loads and loads of our bulls were taken in the trains to go to Canada, to go to Australia, to go to Brazil. They are living there under the brand name or a breed name called American Brahman. So the American Brahman Breeders Association is a powerful entity all over this place, which is raising our bulls there. Why should our bulls be raised in all these countries? If you wonder, Britishers have fondly taken the rest of the bulls here and taken them to different countries and did not put them in Britain because it would look like a cheap stealing affair. So they sold it to other places. Now, today 2025, those bulls' semen are brought back into the country to artificially inseminate every cow in every village today. We'll come to that sensitive part. They try to tell you that what was staying outside of this country is more precious than what is inside. I lived for 12 years there. Am I more worthy than Appa, who's lived here for most of his life? That is the narrative, general narrative. And intervene as much as possible into the natural process of cow and bull giving birth. This is a 30,000 crore market. Artificial insemination. Why is it so important to the society? Because an Indian breed cow, which I was describing in the earlier part of the conversation, it lives for 20 long years. It gives 16 calves in its lifetime, starting from 2.5 years of age. 16 calves. But then when you artificially inseminate it, after the third calf, it becomes infertile. So we raise 450 cows and bulls now in Kanchipuram, which is just about 1.5 hours from here. So welcome to you all to come and see, experience the village, experience the brightness of how the cow dung and urine is making that village 30 plus acres of land unbelievably fertile. The earthworms will come dancing up and down from 15 feet. Indian earthworms, blue and purplish color, not the Icena fetida. By the way, the vermicompost technology that organic industry is giving you is not Indian worms. It is African worm called Icena fetida, a red regular that goes around the surface. It absorbs cadmium, arsenic, mercury poison from the soil and adds it to your food, making it 100 times more dangerous than pesticide-based food. We are coming to the dark parts of what are we eating today. We saw that cows eating blood. What is human eating? Right? What are we eating is 2.5 lakh crore pesticides every year India is importing. All this tariff problem, this, that, everything that you're hearing, pesticides are a huge part of this. The subsidy that went into pesticides, will be the only country will be subsidizing a lot of these pesticides, making food produce that cannot even cross the border the other side. They are giving us all the pesticides, we are putting them in the soil, and when we cannot even take it back one outside, there is a regulation to take it outside. So it is exclusively created to destroy the fertility of Indian population. So you will see that the bipolarity in my narrative, where I have seen the solution for the next prosperous world, which is cow, bull and a calf and a family connecting to it, and get to the solution space delightfully and finish this talk that way. And first expose these conspiracies, what so-called conspiracies, but they are not worthy enough to even be talked about for more. So in Tamil we call it like chalakutis, happy people. It's like, it's okay. It's not their fault. It's nothing personal. Right? It's just industrialization of what they thought was giving them money. That is pretty much it. Right? So there is nothing called organic food. It is just food or poison. Only two categories. Am I eating food or am I eating poison? Clear questions. Right? So in 4.5 acres of our land, I have videos in my in the files I shared. I can just flash them. But in 4.5 acres, we are getting 700 kilograms of vegetables. 14 varieties. You can visit the farm, which is just about half an hour from here. Right? So 14 varieties of vegetables. How are these vegetables thriving? Because of cow urine, which will wade away, which will make all these pests go away. For one okra, for one brinjal, you will get 8 pests. For that, 16 different pesticides are available. 64 illnesses right away. Right? So we can do wonders to this. I'm going to talk about a very interesting part now, which is very closely connecting with science and what might intrigue you beyond this social dimension. Right? One hand fist of soil. One hand fist of soil. India's soil is 30 grams in weight. This has 3 trillion microorganisms. 3 into 10 to the power of 12 minimum. One hand fist of soil. You take it into a drum, put it, and you put cow urine into it, and a little bit of cow dung, a little bit of jaggery, and a little bit of dicot powder, urdhal powder, and mix it. You wait for 3 days, these 3 trillion becomes almost 1,000 times it gets multiplied within that drum. Unbelievable population explosion of those good microbes. One hand fist of soil itself 3 trillion. In Tamil they say kattadu kai man alavu. Kallanadu ulagalavu. Kallanadu vana ulagalavarama. It says in Tamil that what you've learned is only a hand fist of soil. What you've not learned is the rest of what it is in the world. The second part is true, but have we really understood one hand fist of soil? 3 trillion microorganisms to experience it delightfully. If you allow a child, how lovingly it will embrace one hand fist of soil and play with it. Perhaps it is having a conversation with all of that. We don't know. So the brilliance of this microbiome is a new, unbelievably field of study which is coming and is emerging like one health throughout the world. So we are seeing these villages where, just go back all the way to the left. So this is a video where, this is a Kanchi Kuttai, one of the breeds that we have, 100 of them together. So you see the bull cows, all of them as a family, they will graze freely, absolutely no maintenance at all, no medical issues, nothing, and lot of calves every single day because one cow or the other will keep delivering a cow. Very cute eyes, cow has a hump, extremely powerful, ideally raised with a lot of love and care with individual families, ideally raised. But the political situation can completely change. Gifting 100 cows to a village can change the political scene completely, social scene, economical scene, as you can see. you completely gain control of the world, right? This is a very special talk I'm giving to you because you guys are all power packed for economy and many other aspects. So this is the bull called Kanchi Kutte. This is 90 centimeters of bull. To raise such a bull, incredibly hard, incredibly hard. Unless you are committed to that place with a lot of love to the soil, unless you feel that you belong there to the soil, you can't raise them like you're raising goat and sheep. And because this guy is very sensitive to conversations. He will understand you, he'll block his ears and he'll open, I'm looking at you, and he'll scan you completely. You will see some supernatural stuff when you are with cow and bull. I experienced it for over a year. I kept documenting a lot of this. I can share those videos for you. Right? So the hump itself, look at the magic. The way we got him cooled down was he was in Coimbatore for a long time. The cow, again, that's the only way he will realize that he can't do anything very shameful. The cow is right next to it. He'll feel that sensitivity. The cow and the bull share a very special bond. People ask, how many cows for one bull? No. One cow, one bull. The bull will ask for the permission and then have progeny. That's the elevated sense we observe. Right? But what happens when two bulls are fighting over a cow? A small argument, we'll go to that video. Small cow, two bulls are fighting. Small argument.
Oh my God.
Right? It's a very small argument. Two bulls are just like, I don't like what you're doing. A small argument only. So pretty much the entire village will get wiped off. And after wiping them off, if you see, they will just put head to head and say, sorry, not too good to have done this. That's okay, we'll move on with our lives. Right? But none of us will be able to survive right next to it. So the bull, by 1 year of age, if it is not held in love and care and make sure that it doesn't contact human contact, you cannot domesticate it. You can domesticate it, but it will be an elevated guy, elevated ruthless guy who just wants everything on his way. Right? Two men also, when they are discussing, you know what I'm talking about. Right? So, which is the reason why we found only 10 bulls for 5,000 cows. Not just that, but the entire eating factories are on the bulls, sale of bulls. Every day in the morning, there are about 15 market shops here which are supposed to trade cows and bulls. In that exclusively, they are all packed, and 5,000 cows from each of those are going to Kerala in the morning and export and whatnot. So every day, precious breeds are getting lost. In spite of that, these cows and bulls are surviving. They will survive. Nature will survive. The question is how much we will be able to make use of it and be. Right? So at this point of time, I want to emphasize on certain properties of a bull. First is, what has the country done systematically to protect them? What is it doing today? Something very important to look at. We should have a body for registering such a great species, right? If you go to the next video, there's something very this is like a birth every play. So every day we'll have one calf born. The first day you touch a cow for milk on her milk teeth, she'll give one kick again straight in the center of her face. The first day, Indian breed. If it is a Jersey or any other breed, it is just giving away the pain. So it will allow you to milk. Because it is a pain, you've tied it in one place. In Tamil it's called Kal Nadai. You've tied it in one place, you're feeling all these things, so you're relieving the pain, it will give you the pain because it's going to cause you pain by drinking that milk. But this milk is so precious that the first day you touch it, it will give one kick in the face. 1 week later, when you care for her and care for the calf, the cow will come and give a rub on the side. It's an indication that the calf has had the milk and you have not had it. That is the time we'll be looking for our own wives, mom, daughter, and men cannot really take that level of emotion. When somebody is saying, please, can you draw milk and take it? It's very hard. Next video. So, I think the next one. Yeah. So this is a calf that is just born. If you see, it can't even climb up because it is kept in a goshala. What is a goshala today? Aren't goshalas doing great work? Goshalas. So, how much ever you mix breeds, that is such a dangerous work to do. By the name of spirituality, if you're mixing 10 breeds because it got us danam, one cow goes in the front, another bull from a different variety comes behind. This cow will sit down immediately because if otherwise if it impregnates, it will die during delivery. The head won't come out, the body won't come out. Cows are of 2.5 feet height to 8 feet, 9 feet height.
right? You can't mix them. So if you put them in a goshala, this calf is a hard surface. It is not even able to climb up and have the first milk, which is what naturally is supposed to do. The person recording this video knows me so much, and he's trying to make me happy, but he doesn't even realize that it is slipping. It's supposed to be in a sand environment. Why is this goshala a hard surface? Because it is supposed to drain the gomium automatically into a tub, in that you can go take it and farm. That is a large-scale manufacturing setup, which will even fail the progeny creation itself. The whole night the calf would have been there without drinking. Next one, we'll quickly move on to the next. Yeah, so this is one of our farms where we have, the audio is not connected, right? Is it possible? It's okay. So we just talks about how we have organized the different vegetables, 14 vegetables here, 14 varieties of vegetables, and how the microbiome from the cow is actually doing all this magic for us. So, and we have a store also at the end. So this is a very involved family with us. They are raising these cows and bulls and show the. So we take all the children here to the farm. So 15 varieties of vegetables are there. So I mean, it's just 700 kilograms every single day. 700 kilograms, so 14 varieties every day. Zero investment. It's an ATM machine only. So Bhash Palekarji's own words. ATM machine. Soil is an ATM machine. If you manage the microbiome well, extremely fresh and delicious, like somebody was saying. You just take it, and every time you are hungry and you find something, you'll be so happy about it. Next one. Yeah, so this is our produce of 30 bags of indigenous. First one that we got, this was like a whole village was waiting around and counting the number of bags. They were like excited like election results. 1 acre, 30 bags, we barely make 7 or 8 when it is organic. It's 3 times the worth if you export it. So you have got so much of Karun Guruve. My professor's name, by the way, Professor Anga Vemuri, is my guru, is our guru in US. So we have a tipper tractor on his name, the curriculum, right? So fantastic way to actually experience nature. In the morning, 5 a.m., if you just take a walk and start blissful songs in your mind that would go and just enjoy the breeze. And next one. Yeah, so this is the Madras Presidency's Great Madras Famine, which was, they brought in a lot of painters from Britain around 1876. So they said this is the last of the herd. This is the same bull that we have, by the way, if you saw the picture. This was drawn in 1876 when they caused the Great Madras Famine. The lines were standing from Bangalore to Chennai throughout this route. People did not have food. So people had to eat cows. Otherwise, converted, religion, a lot of issues that happened in Kanchipuram, Arcot area. Why is this place very special? Tamil Nadu was otherwise very protected. There's 45 breeds from just within the state. Kerala has 12 more breeds, by the way. The moment you say Kerala, you think of Vechur only. But there are 12 other breeds. Palakkad Kullan and Thrissur Kuttan. A lot of Kuttan will be there. Why? Because they were the original indigenous ones. The other ones which were tall were brought there for a reason to actually to be like pulling the bullock carts and everything. So they castrated the bulls then. That is why they go. The British taught us to castrate the bulls. Because anybody can open up any vehicle like this, like a car, and start the vehicle and go. This bull had to have a relationship, right? So all these artifacts are related to the induced poverty and how this was systematically getting weakened, which is our main infrastructure today. So 20 years it lives, cow, 16 calves, huge wealth. You can imagine 1 kilo of cow dung today is 105 rupees. Without the gomium itself, some manures if you add, right, in the website. So 450 cows and bulls here, every day they give 10 kilograms every single day. Out of freely grazing, not a